bunch of my notes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me make sure. And I'm all set to go. I'm gonna pack water. This is a 1 hour 30-minute super day in the office, and it's all the way down in Battery Park. So I'm leaving like 45 minutes before so I can get there early, and also hopefully the trains are running smoothly. And yeah, wish me luck. Maybe this one will be the one. Who knows? Okay, I have my interview in 5 minutes. I feel like this is probably gonna be one of my last few interviews, so I'm gonna really try to do my best. I think it's just about not being nervous, because I know I can do it. It's just like I need to not have a nervous breakdown. But I'm all set. I have my pens and highlighter, my empty paper, and I'm going to join the meeting soon. I feel pretty good right now. I was really nervous yesterday. I started getting like stress hives across my chest. So hopefully that doesn't happen during my call. I have this neck, it's like goes up high enough. So hopefully they don't see even if it happens. But yep. If this goes well, I also want to potentially record like how I prepared for my interviews. I don't think I did it in any special way. I just did what has worked for me and what feels natural to me when I study and prepare. I also think stress management is really important, because after a lot of studying, I can feel like myself getting stressed out. I can feel it in my brain and in my chest. So then I made sure to give myself enough breaks, and just trying my best to stay focused, and also keeping a positive mindset so I don't get doubtful in my abilities. I'm trying to remind myself right now and give myself a pep talk that they gave me this interview because I'm qualified. So I just need to really put my best foot forward in this call. So I have 2 back-to-back calls that are both an hour long. So it's 2 hours total. It's not too bad. And then after it, I'm gonna feel so good that I survived. So personally, the hardest part of consulting interviews is the math, because it's been a really long time since I took math in school, and just the type of math they ask can be a bit tricky. So it's really important when you prepare for consulting interviews to get that muscle in your brain really strong of solving math problems really quickly. So I use Gemini's Canvas feature to kind of plug in all the different types of questions I wanted to practice, whether it's gross margin, whether it's breaking even, and it will create a problem set that is exactly what you would want to prepare. And here there's a few questions that you can answer, and it will give you hints if you need them. And it really helps you kind of target those. It looks like I didn't really do a really good job here, but it's really helpful to practice. And if you want something more challenging or something a little wordier, you can easily edit it in the prompt. So I personally used Gemini's Canvas a lot when practicing for the math. In addition to practicing the math, a big part of it is memorizing the formulas that matter. And this looks like a lot, but a lot of these do connect, like the profit, revenue, margins. So once you know half of them, you kind of know the other half. And a lot of this was not used. I would say a lot of consulting focuses on profitability, and you don't really need to know all of the technical finance formulas unless you're interviewing at a very finance-focused company. But I still wanted to have the knowledge in my back pocket in case I needed to use it. So I also studied up on those finance formulas. And you can see a little bit more here, things like operating profit, EBITDA, and honestly, all these things that are kind of complicated that you don't really need to know. Another area that I really honed in on was mental math. It's not something that I'm used to doing, and it's not something that most people are used to doing. So a lot of the quick mental math is something I also drilled down on, whether it's converting from thousands to billions really quickly, or doing really quick division, or conversions from decimals to percentages, for example. Something that also helped me was not memorizing frameworks, but memorizing equation-based frameworks, because of course you're being evaluated on creativity and being me-see in your frameworks, but understanding how certain equations play into your frameworks is also really helpful. And here are a few examples, but to kind of start with the easiest one with profitability, just seeing the equation in your head before you even see the math. So when they give you the case, give you the business situation, you should automatically get alerts in your head saying this is a profitability case. So in your head, you already have the two buckets of revenue and costs. That way you can be me-see and also not miss out on anything important, while also foreseeing what's going to come out in the future of the case, which is going to be some kind of profitability math. In a more kind of complex situation would be customer and membership problems, where when you are evaluating a business that has to do with losing subscriptions or trying to gain more customers, then you can kind of see this equation of the net customer change, new customers versus lost customers, and divide that into a formula of acquisition minus churn, for example. I also did walk through a lot of different cases because it's really important to get used to thinking through the cases in a structured way. And the best way to do that is to actually run through case practice. I suggest maybe splitting, let's say you have 10 cases, do 5 on your own, 5 with a case partner. So you get used to kind of getting feedback from other people, and you're able to iterate based on the feedback you get. Another thing I did was whenever I was done with the case, any feedback I got or areas of improvement, I put in a different color so that when I look back to review my cases, I immediately see these are the areas that I missed, areas that I need to improve on. And that was really effective for my personal studying. All right, it's officially the D-Day of my big final interview. So I feel like the last 15 hours I've just been kind of stress managing, nerves managing, because at this point I'm not trying to study more. I'm just trying to kind of make it so I can put my best foot forward and do 100% everything, give everything that I prepared. Yeah, I think I'll just be myself, and that is all. My interview nails. Hey guys, let me try to find some decent lighting. I'm gonna put you right here. I am heading out. It's Friday night. I don't have any crazy plans this weekend, but my friend, one of her friends is having a show at a bar, so I'm gonna show up. That's all I have planned so far for tonight, and I usually feel like I kind of go with the flow on things. Today I wrapped up a final interview earlier in the day, and I feel like a lot of with interviews, even if you think you did well or if you think you did not so well, you never really know the outcome. So I'm gonna try not to think about it too much. I also received 2 verbal offers this week, but I haven't confirmed on either of them because I want to wait for this process that I just finished, the final interview for today, to come through, and then I'll have to make a decision. But I think things are moving in a positive direction, so yeah, I need to think positively. Hi guys, I have about 5 minutes before my interview starts. It's another MBB interview, and as you know and saw, I already did an MBB interview, so I feel a little bit more relaxed going into this one. I honestly didn't prepare too much this time around because I did face a lot of burnout and I just couldn't really bring myself to study more. So I'm kind of just writing on the prep that I did a little bit a while ago for that other firm. And yeah, I'm kind of just taking this as more of a learning opportunity, learning experience. I'm not too stressed because I already received a few offers. So yeah, hopefully it all goes well and I'm able to kind of enjoy myself. Bye. Hi guys, I am here to wrap up this video because I signed my job offer finally a few days ago, and I wanted to come on here, give my kind of takeaways on what I've seen in the job market in 2025, 2026, and kind of my advice on anyone kind of in the job hunt currently and anyone who might be in the future as things get more crazy with AI. And I just wanted to kind of start with this notion that this market is so different. It's not like anything people are talking about, it's worse. And I think that for someone like me who has interviewed and been in recruiting cycles the last few years, it was very shocking to see how different it is now. And I think people really underestimate how hard it is to actually find a job. It was very difficult for me, and I've worked at, this is not bragging, but I've worked at the biggest name companies in tech and across different industries. I went to a notable university, and it was so hard. So I can't even imagine how much harder it would be if you're still in college or if you just don't have those same experiences, because at the end of the day, luck does play a lot into it. But kind of what I've seen in the market is that there are just so few entry-level early career jobs. So few, it's insane. And even if they are early career, they're looking for people with like 3 to 5 years of experience or something crazy. And it's really, I think what's happening is these companies, the big companies that used to hire a lot of young talent, are not hiring young talent anymore. They're investing that money into AI technology, buying whatever software, because I guess they're trying to replace young talent with AI. And that young talent is all of the administrative stuff, the more kind of business analyst work, whether it's the Excel, just the coordination. So kind of what my advice is for young people trying to break into an industry or get any kind of job, just a foot in the door, is that you have to kind of look where the opportunities are. So since these traditional opportunities are going away, you have to be able to do kind of something, whether it's making your own personal brand, building projects online, just putting yourself out there in whatever way you can, because these are the avenues that are available to us. Another way to think about it is look at where the money is going. It's going into AI, it's going into startups. So all these startups that are getting a lot of funding, they're getting a lot of funding in these AI startups, and there's a lot of room for entry-level talent to get into those startups, whether it's in sales, marketing, anything technical. You are like, these young minds are so brilliant, and they're the ones who are going to be making the innovation happen, the innovative ideas happen in these startups or wherever you can get your foot in the door. So I would say kind of pivot your mind away from these like traditional large companies to these smaller, more innovative companies. And another thing that I would note is, where do you find these opportunities? I actually got 2 offers from cold outreaches on LinkedIn, and you need to be doing that because sure, your own network can be great or whatever, but I realized that even though I'm someone who has a very strong network, it's like that's still gonna have a ceiling. So you want to be putting yourself on those social media platforms that have these job opportunities. That's gonna be Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok sometimes, and look on your feed, follow the right people, engage with the right kind of content, and you will see a lot of opportunities out there. You just need to do the outreach and grab the opportunities that are out there. That being said, of course, that is not easy. So I think that it's a lot of failure, but then at the end of the day, if you shoot out 100 messages, maybe one will respond and you just need one, right? Another trend that I'm seeing in the market now is that interviewers and companies are looking for reasons to not hire you rather than looking for reasons to hire you. And this is from my experience, perhaps yours isn't the same, but just a few years ago, it was still challenging to get jobs and break into certain industries. But I would say that overall, when I would join calls in the past, I just got the vibe that the interviewers were really rooting for my success. They were hoping for me to be a good match for this position. Whereas now, it's definitely a different energy where it just feels so much more competitive that they will find any reason to not hire you. And I've seen this come into play when I'll go through months and months, rounds and rounds of interviews, finish the final round, get great feedback throughout the whole process. If it was a few years ago, I probably would have gotten an offer. In 2026, they found a very niche thing to nitpick on about my background as a reason to not hire me. And kind of my initial thoughts are, of course, it's frustrating, it's demoralizing. It's kind of like, why did we even go through this process if you were going to nitpick on that? But that's just the nature of the market now. And although it's unfortunate, there isn't really a solution to that other than having to just move on and keep your chin up. And that kind of leads me to my next point. And this is kind of my biggest advice in terms of succeeding in finding a job and succeeding in interviews. It's that you need to really have a very strong core. You need to understand very well who you are, what your skills are, what you want, what are your goals, what's your plan. And I think this is important because this is what's going to make your confidence and this is what's going to make your profile. And when you join an interview, interviewers do so many interviews. They can very quickly tell if you are the right person or not. And it's going to come from your confidence. And if you are someone who is feeling doubtful about your skills, if you're feeling imposter syndrome, even when you join the call, it's probably not going to work out. And I know that this is difficult because in this phase of looking for a job, you might feel desperate. You might want to grab whatever is available because of your current situation. There's a lot on your back. There's like financial stress, your personal life, or your family. There's just a lot of things that are on the line here. So I completely understand feeling very kind of nervous and stressed out when you kind of enter these interview situations. But I believe that in order to succeed now, you need to have so much conviction in your own personal thesis regarding your career. And that can come into play in a number of different ways. I'll give a few examples so it makes more sense. So let's say if you want a client-facing job and you're not in a client-facing job now, the job market is really tough, so perhaps you can't find a client-facing job currently, but if you can find something adjacent, you will feel so convicted in your path to a client-facing job that this adjacent role that you can land is not going to feel like a deterrent. It's just going to feel like the right next step. And in that way, you need to have that conviction in yourself and in your next steps. And it's a tough balance because at the same time, you don't know what is your next step. You don't know what the next opportunity is going to be. But I think at the same time, you need to have this very strong confidence in yourself that despite the future being unknown, you can stay confident and very knowledgeable about who you are and what you want out of your career, despite this kind of ambiguous period. I also think that it's really important to trust your gut feeling when you join these calls, and when you're a little bit unsure about your next steps, you're gonna have a gut feeling. It's gonna be positive or negative. And you might be in a situation where you want to suppress that gut feeling because you really need a job or something like that. But I find that from my experience, it's always better to just trust that gut feeling, because I believe that that gut feeling has a lot of merit, because your gut is like you, it's you telling yourself, your brain and your like soul telling you the answer. So even if your brain is logically thinking something else, I do think it's valuable to really kind of listen to your gut feeling. And again, it's just important for you to, even if you like seek out advice or insight from others, your family, social media, you should always listen to your own voice, because you know what's going to make you happy, what you like, what your goals are, and nobody else can tell you that. And that kind of plays into that conviction piece, and it's going to set you up for success, not just in interviews, but in your career and life overall. And the last aspect I want to touch on is being unemployed can be it is really difficult, and it can make you distance yourself from others. It can make you just wonder what your identity is. And that's why I think it's really important for you to use this time to really learn more about yourself. And that can be who you are apart from just your job or your title. It's you, like, who are you? And I think you can get a little bit of sense of normalcy in your life back from staying true to those things that make you you, whether it's your hobbies, whether it's your friends or family, or just making a little bit of room in your everyday to do something that is true to you or meaningful to you. Kind of wrapping everything up, those are kind of the biggest takeaways that I have from job searching the last few months. It's definitely really difficult, but I ended up with a few offers to choose from, luckily. But I will say that it definitely wasn't linear. I had to look at a lot of different avenues, open a lot of doors that I had initially thought were closed. I ended up in places I had no idea I would end up in conversations that I would never have imagined just a year or two ago. So I think you need to stay flexible and open and positive, and also remember that there is some kind of end and there is some kind of next step that's going to come as a result of this, and whatever challenges are given to you, because you have the capabilities to handle it, and that it's going to make you a stronger person. And I think every day I really kind of reminded myself of these things, because every day is a challenge for sure. And I would love to help anyone if I can. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. And overall, I wish you the best of luck and good luck with everything. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.